So, this whole podcast is on leadership and you're still working.
85 years old, and it doesn't seem like working. I work, though. I'm here. If I'm in my lake house, I work because now we don't have to be in an office all day long. But I figured out in football, I wasn't the biggest guy, the fastest guy, the smartest guy, but I worked hard at it, and I had to get better every day, and I did. So there you are.
So football taught you that basis for work.
Kindness. I was born in Richmond, Virginia, but at age 6, I moved to Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And I played sports from the time I could walk. I played basketball, baseball, football, and I worked at it all day long, everything. And I was a good football player, baseball player, a basketball player when I was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old.
Okay.
But I found out that I never felt I had the final intelligence. I was looking to get better and better and better, and I did. But in business, my dad was a preacher, didn't have any money, and so I got a paper out in Washington, D.C. when I was 7 years old. And I would deliver the paper 7 days a week, and then 1 day a week I would go and collect for it. But in those days, that's what you did. So I had my own money. Now, how much money was that? Maybe $10 a month.
Yep.
I made it. I went and got bubblegum cards. So I've worked all my life. I played sports all my life. And I've learned equally in sports. I've learned like crazy. I got better. And in business, I've worked like crazy from 7 years old on up. I worked every off season. I've started 22 companies, and I'm still learning. And holy go, we got AI now. AI is going to change the world. AI, it may change the world sometime. I haven't changed it yet, right? But, and of course, Apple, which I'm a big shareholder in Apple, they're the stupidest people in the world because they're getting left at the gates because they're not in AI, and it's not working for them right now.
Yeah.
And you know what? Apple will win the war.
I'm wondering though, your father was a preacher, I thought you said?
Yeah.
Where did you get that work ethic to start off?
I don't know the answer to that.
You don't know?
I don't know. I just knew that I love sports. I failed.
What's that point?
I failed kindergarten. I learned in school. I learned nothing in school. I had no interest in school. I would do enough to go from one grade to the next. Everything I learned was outside of school, in the alleys of Washington, D.C., playing sports, having the paper route, and then go to work. I had my insurance license at 18 while I was at the University of Georgia. And I was the number one seller of life insurance. My 3 of my 4 years at University of Georgia at Athens. And so the only way I could learn football, the only way I could learn, but I had to do it.
Learned always by doing. You learned by doing. You learned by.
I learned by doing. All right, that's a good point you made there. So you heard me talk about I started playing sports by the time I can think.
Yeah.
I had a television show called That's Incredible. Monday night ran for about 5 years, and one night we had Tiger Woods. He was 4 years old. His dad brought him in. He sat on my lap, and then I started looking at how his dad set up a place to hit golf balls in the garage, and he was hitting golf balls, bam, bam, in the garage. And then he came on our set out in L.A., and he came and he hit golf balls, and bam, bam, bam. He started when he was 4 years old.
Yep.
And I don't think if you don't start business when you're young, or you don't start football, baseball, basketball tennis, golf, whatever. When you're young, you can't be good because we learn faster when we are between 5 and 10 and 5 and 12 years old because we don't know failure, right? We don't, we don't,
Good point.
we don't know.
Not only, it sounds like it's a combination, though, that you got into it and at the right age that taught you that work ethic that pulled you to today.
Yeah, the work ethic, and also how do you make money? You make money by providing a service that someone likes. I had my little wagon to go to the Safeway store, take these little ladies, and they would go to the store and have a package or two. I put it in my wagon, and they only lived a block or 2 blocks or 3 blocks away. And I would take my wagon on Saturday and Sunday when they were shopping, and they'd give me, I don't know, they gave me a dime. Maybe they gave me 15 cents. Maybe they gave me 25 cents. But I worked, I did my job, I made them happy, and I got money for it. So what did I do with the money? Well, I started buying bubblegum cars about football players, college football players. I was enamored with college football and pro football. And so this aided me in my understanding when I was watching a football game on television, the Redskins in Washington and so forth. I knew what was going on. And then I got to watch quarterbacks like Sammy Baugh, who most people wouldn't know, but was one of the greatest quarterbacks that ever played. I got to follow him and watch him play when I was 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. I never had an original thought. Everything that I've learned is from somebody else. That's just what. And so when I ate up coaches. I had a coach in high school football for 4 years. We won a state championship. He was a tough guy, but he made me understand that you got to be a tough guy to play football. And I played 4 years there. We won a state championship. I went to the University of Georgia. We had another tough coach named Wally Bush. Golly. But I learned from him. He really understood the passing game. And I would wear him out asking questions. And we won the state championship in high school. We won the SEC championship in college. And then I go to play pro football in 1961, and I played 18 years. Every off season, I went to the houses of the greatest quarterbacks that came before me. Sid Luckman, who was an Hall of Fame quarterback at the Chicago Bears. And then I would go and stay with him for 2 or 3 days and tell me how you play quarterback. I didn't take any notes. He would take me. I just came into my, and that's in business in my office here. I've got a picture of a guy named Sam Walton. He was a quarterback in high school, and he started Walmart, obviously. And so at the end of my career, he was just getting Walmart going. He was a former quarterback. And so I got to know him and did a lot of business with him. I got pictures and letters from him. I learned from him in business. How could you have a better teacher than Sam Walton?
So the way you learned is not only doing it, but you also just got conversations. You'd ask the quarterback, say,
Yeah.
How are you doing what you're doing? Sam, how do you do what you do?
Zach, I didn't like classrooms. As I told you, I didn't learn in high school and college. I did enough to graduate. I learned from the people out there doing business, playing quarterback, being coaches. I played in all-star games with Vince Lombardi, with Tom Landry, with Don Shula. And these guys were the epitome of great coaches during that era. And after practice, when we play in the Pro Bowls where I was, I spent hours with them, asking them questions. And I'll give you one example. Lombardi only gave us 6 passing plays for the All-Star game. In my regular season, I had 40 passing plays.
Okay.
So I said to Lombardi, I said, tell me, are you just having 6 passing plays because we're in a Pro Bowl game? He said, no, son. We only have 6 different passing plays in our offense, but we execute it. No matter what they do, a 4-man line, 3-man line, blitz, 3 linebackers, whatever they do, we got to answer for it because we prepared with those 6 passing plays what to do. And he was right. And so business back to Mr. Sam Walton. I've got things on my board. We've spent a lot of time together. He was the greatest businessman that I've ever known in my life. Never been one like Sam Walton. I mean, here's a guy in Bentonville, Arkansas, starts this thing, and he got Sears Roebuck at J.C. Penney and all the big stores, the Kmart's, they've gone away. And his deal has stayed up, and they are doing better today than Walmart all over the world, even after he's been dead for 10 years or 12.
Now, while you're talking, I'm understanding better how you learn is conversation. You get into it, you have that conversation, you learn firsthand. You wrote the book, How to Motivate People, the team strategy for success. Now, this is a few years back you wrote the book.
Way back. I was in my probably 20s or 30s, somewhere in there.
So I understand how you motivate yourself. You get into it, you talk to the person, listen, I wasn't educated at Harvard. I just want to know, how, Sam, do you run this? How do you motivate and lead others and transfer that skill that you have yourself into them?
Great question.
Thank you.
Great question. I called my own plays in football, high school, college, and pro. In pro football, after my 4th year, I put in the offense.
Okay.
I put in the offense. And so I had to know everybody's position, what they do, how to line them up, and so forth.
Yeah.
And back in my day, the running game was what it was. The passing game wasn't very, very popular. In fact, here's our lineup. We had 11 players with offense. We had a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 halfbacks, and a fullback.
Okay.
We had 5 offensive linemen, and we had a tight end and 1 guy that split out as a wide receiver. Today, they got 5 wide receivers. Quarterback didn't even have a backfield. He's back in getting the snap from the center. He has no other running backs around him, but we got 5 ends who can run 4 or 5 40s, and bam, 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 bam. We didn't have that. So how did I make an offense go when we weren't very much down the field? We made this. I never chewed out a play in my life.
Okay.
If a wide receiver dropped the ball, I'd go hug him.
Okay.
If a lineman missed the block and Deacon Jones tackled me, I hugged them. I never had they were my people. I had to make them better. And how can I make them better if they're scared of the quarterback that he's going to yell and scream at me because he's supposed to be the most smartest guy on the team? The quarterback that's not necessarily true. But so I would go to the sideline and I talked to my lineman and my receiver to say, how you doing? What works? What doesn't work? Because they knew. So I spent all that time there. And I would take their information and I'd go and call the right running play or the right passing play because I got the information from Ahmad Rashad, who's way out there then, and he's running against the defensive setup that they have. He knows what's going on. I don't know. I'm in the center, and I'm getting the ball and go back here. I can't see all that, but I'm on camera.
I love what you're saying, though, because what's funny is your personal growth was asking questions. Your leadership style was to ask questions. You saying, you tell me, I don't know.
That's right. Well, see, that's right, because here I've got outbody. I'm under center, and he's 20 yards to my right or 20 yards to my left, and I'm here calling hut 1, hut 2, and then I turn my back to the line. I don't know where Ahmad is. Ahmad, can you run a post route? Can you run a corner route? Can you run underneath? What do you got? Tell me what you got. You tell me. Now I'm coming to third down. You got to make third downs right there. Have an offense. I've had a right tackle named Ron Yeri, who was the biggest tackle, offensive tackle in football that day, weighed 275. And next to him was a guard. And this is in Minnesota in my last years when we went to the Super Bowl. We had a guy named Ed White with 285. They were bigger than anybody.
Okay.
They were today. You would then they were. So we come to 3rd and 1. You gotta make that third down play. You gotta have a third down play 20 times. If you're gonna have an offense, you gotta get. I don't want to go back to throw the ball. I want to run the ball 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. So I'm on the sideline. I'd ask Ron Yeri, Ed White, what do you got? Can we on 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2? Is your guys playing on your outside, on your inside, hand up? They would tell me. I would put them in position and call a play that would allow them to do what they're doing. And we would convert third down plays 80% of the time.
See, I love that phrase because I quote that all the time in teams I lead. I said, my job is just to let you do what you do best.
That's exactly right. And so, therefore, my best friends were my offensive linemen. We go on a road trip. I bought them dinner. I bought them gifts. I made $12,500 my first year. My last year, 18 years, I set all the passing records. We went to 3 of the first 11 Super Bowls and all that stuff. And I made $180,000. I was the highest paid player in football, made $180,000 a year. And so, in my line, they had no money. So I took them out to lunches and dinners. They were my best friends because I liked them because for a lot of reasons. But one, if they don't give me time to throw it or they don't open up holes for my backfield, we're not going to win.
But now you left me with a question. Sometimes people think to be a good leader means you have to have all the answers. You have to be that position of authority. You have to be like, no, you're there and I'm here. I agree with you that you need to formulate relationships and let people do their job. But how do you remain a leader? How do people trust you as a leader if in that light? Do you know what I'm saying?
Because you include them in the thinking, in the process.
Yeah.
Here, we got AI going out there, and I formed a partnership with IBM in 1981. There was a technology called CASE, Computer-Aided Software Engineering, and this guy in New York had gone broke, and he couldn't make it work. Came down here, and I bought his company for $1. I said, "But you stay in, and I'm going to give you." So we couldn't make it work.
Okay.
And so my top technology guy, who was bright as could be, he said, we ought to partner with IBM. I said, with IBM in 1981, they were FANG stocks by themselves. If it weren't for IBM, there would not be a Microsoft or Intel and so forth. They
started it all.
So I called the chairman of the board, John Akers. I didn't know John Akers. But this guy says we need to partner with John Akers, which is we're doing nothing. We're doing $100,000 a year and losing money, and he's the biggest company in the world. So I get him on the phone and I talked to him, and I said, this guy is my chief technical officer, is my only one, thinks that this case software that we've now acquired out of it's really going to be something that will be important to you. He said, I'll tell you what, come up to see us. I'll have my top 20 guys. Long story short, I showed him what we're doing. I didn't know. I brought him along. And John Akers called me. He said, we want to be your partner. I was doing about $100,000 a year in sales, losing money. And he became our partner. And in 2 years, we did $124 million in sales because of IBM and John Akers. You got to have teammates. You cannot do it yourself. Here I am at 85 years old. AI. it's all technology. How does this all work? Pro football, their coach is a former quarterback. He's 39, 40 years old. And he was coach of the year this year. Coach of the year. He played quarterback a little bit in New England and San Diego in college. But he understands modern day football and how to make the quarterback position easier. It's a hard position to play. And they won 14 games last year. And he had a journeyman quarterback. But he put the offense and made it simple and easy. Kansas City, their coach is a genius offensive coach. And he had Patrick Mahomes coming out of college. He was the fourth or fifth guy that was drafted out of the draft as a quarterback. He didn't even play him the first year. Didn't play him to the second year. But when he went in, he knew how to play because the offense was made easy by his coach. If something is hard, I don't care who you are, you're not going to be as good. If it's easy, and I've got a system of playing quarterback, of the passing game, the running game, and how it all goes. I never thought I was overmatched in calling plays and getting our people in the right place. And the reason I had all these helpers all along that taught me, and I was ahead of the game. And my last 14 years out of 18, I put in the pass offense.
You mentioned hard. I've always theorized that you learn sometimes more from the failures than the success.
No, I wrote a book about that.
Why do you think I asked the question? Just because I look good? Come on.
Well, here's the deal. We go out, and we win a game, and when I went back to Minnesota, we won a lot of games. And we win a game. We go out with our wives, and we have dinner, a beer or two, a drink or two. We're celebrating. God, we are so good and so great, and then we lose. I didn't go out to dinner. I went back to my house, and I got the film. They already would have it ready for me. And I'd stay up for hours looking at the film of my offense against their defense to see what we missed.
Yeah.
Somehow I missed. I got beat. They were smarter than me, and I didn't want that to be that. And so you learn from losing. And in business, I built all these businesses. So we're just going. And I've got all these young people who are so takey-wicky smart. But I asked them questions. And a lot of questions. And I learned. And once you think you've got it figured out,
You don't.
you get hit in the face. I don't care how good you are, football quarterback, going to Super Bowls, breaking records, or in business. Football has changed dramatically, but no more than business. And now AI this, AI that, and God, Apple, Apple scores more points than anybody in the world, right?
Yeah.
More points than anybody in the world. I read the other day that they got some apps in the stores. They had 1.3 trillion revenue in apps. And on NVIDIA, when NVIDIA's got a market cap that's more than Apple, but they don't have more money than Apple. And Apple is going to win. And Apple will win AI over the rest of them because they don't go in first, right? Never have gone in first. They go in second, third, or fourth. But they got the money. And they understand it's just, you just don't throw something on the wall. They figure it out. And they take a little longer to figure it out than the rest of them. Mark my word, they'll win.
You left me with another question I just thought of. You learn from failure.
Yeah.
But sometimes failure, there's a fine line. Failure, and you learn from it. Failure, you get depressed.
Well, it's not a fine line.
Tell me.
Apple thought they should make a, a car.
Yeah.
Spent over billions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then finally said, no, that's not us. We can't do that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's, and I have in business, I've got people telling me, God, you got to invest in this business, public business, or be a partner here, da, 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 and we can change the world. Sometimes they get through to me. 90% of those times it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. I went in for the wrong reasons. And the wrong reasons is this. Everybody wants to make a lot of money. I want to provide products and services that make my customers better.
Okay.
If I have technology and I have ways to help them in marketing their products and services, and they get more traction with that, they're going to like me and do business with me. If I don't do that, I'm not going to be around very long. It's smoke and mirrors. And so I don't care what business you're in, Apple or me down here. I've got to be how can I help people get more business? Marketing, 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 marketing. If you haven't got a way to go to market that's efficient with your product, and that product doesn't make your customer better,
Yep. Yeah.
you're not in business. But here we have Apple. The car deal didn't work. I bet you've got a lot of other things that didn't work, and they get out and get back on their horse to find the
And I
answer.
love the whole, how do you get yourself and your team to say, let's get back on the horse versus let's eat ice cream all night and cry? There's a point that you have to change the mindset.
We have to change the mindset. And sometimes we stay too long in something that we need to change the mindset. But if your mindset is my job, we do a lot of digital marketing now, a lot. And 95% of the time we make it work. And it's been a great lesson because we help them get more customers efficiently because the people that win historically are the guys and women who go knock on doors, buy my product, buy my product. But now, if you just knock on doors, that ain't going to work. You got to go and make sure that you have leverage technology to be able to get in front of more customers in a cost efficient way that allows them to sell product. Pretty simple. It's not easy.
You said it. What is the
Uh,
mindset that keeps you from getting back on the horse versus eating ice cream all night?
yeah, I just like coming to work every day here or wherever I am because I want to figure out for my partners how to efficiently get our message in front of more people and help those people get more business. And that's the ultimate, right? That's what you've got to do. And but what worked yesterday may not work tomorrow. And we built some technology called Upnetic,
Okay.
and we did it 7 or 8 years ago. And we have a big company, and Dr. mentioned that it was just great. But that was 7 years ago. And so anyway, after 7 years, we needed to redo it. And we are now redoing it. And we're going to launch a new Upnetic 2 in September because we can do so much better today because we've got better technology. We got better people that know how to do this stuff that are in my house here. And we're going to come out with Upnetic 2 in September, and then it'll be light years above Upnetic 1.
What is it though? I understand you have the mentality. What do you tell the people who work with you? How do you look at Larry to your right and say, don't worry, things went wrong. We're going to still keep going forward?
Larry is a great technology guy, and he's been with me through companies for 30 years. And he's great. We we have a great technical staff here that are light years beyond anything that we had 10 years ago or 5 years ago. If you just sit still and pat yourself on the back, oh, we're doing so well, we're doing millions of dollars, we got people knocking on our door. Well, if you don't keep abreast of all that and improve that stuff, they will knock on your door. They'll find somebody else who's bringing them something more efficient. And so, and Upnetic One has been a great success, but we can do better. And we probably should have done Upnetic 2 years ago, but we're on it and we're launching it, but because you never get it, bar gets higher and higher and higher. We've got to be more relevant to our customers than ever before, and we got to use technology and use our brains to provide knowledge of how we can do things better and more efficiently. Because again, as I've said, if you think you've got it all fixed up and made, bam. And so you see, Walmart still makes it, right? J.C. Penney's gone. Kmart's gone. Sears Roebuck's gone. Montgomery Ward's gone. Where'd they go? And Walmart, my little buddy Sam Milton built the biggest company in the world. He's been dead 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And they're still doing great. And they're getting better. And his group was relevant after he died. That's a great testimony to Sam Walton. He's the greatest businessman that ever lived. He never stopped. Never stopped. Bam, bam, always. And today, it's more important today than ever before. You gotta get smarter, and you gotta get better, and you gotta have
the secret through your whole career is your relationships, your willingness to have that conversation.
No question. My phone here, I take a call from anybody that wants to call in here who's done something. And so I get a lot of calls. And probably I won't do something with, maybe I might do something with 1 out of 100. And so, but I know this, I've got to keep reaching out to people doing something. But then here's the problem with that. You got a lot of shysters out there. And so many of them, all they want to do is make money. They don't care whether they're serving the customer well or serving the people. And they just, now that I got some money. So they can go knock on my door. Oh, we can do this. Give me this and give me that and give me that. And sometimes I've given into that and I've lost every time. So I don't give it to us. I've got to figure it out that I gotta have the right people around me. The only reason we went to those Super Bowl, in my early years, I was on an expansion team in Minnesota, which means first year they ever had a football team. Yeah. And we didn't have good teams. I went to New York after 6 years, and the year I got there, they had won one game, 12 losses, and 1 tie. And they had a really good quarterback named Earl Morrow, and they couldn't win. They gave up 5 draft choices to get me to come there. We did pretty good, but I'm 31 years old. We don't have an organization. We don't have a team. We can't win. We made them a little better, but we can't win. And I told the owner, you need more than me. I want a chance to go out and have it. And so I went back to Minnesota. Bud Grant was a great coach. We had the perfect people leaders. We had Ahmad Rashad. We had players. We had coaches. We had good owners. And we won our division 6 straight years. Went to 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. And and it we had the right we had the right I did the right thing. I did the right thing. And I didn't get there till I was 31. I played my last game at 39. And back then, we weren't as fit as they are today. Tom Brady, we hear Tom Brady, great, arguably the greatest quarterback ever to play. It hurts me to say that, but he was an average guy at high school, an average guy in college. I think he played at Michigan State, didn't play much. Belichick, uh, he, 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 I think he was the 95th person picked in the draft, picked in the 4th or 5th round, which means Belichick didn't think he could play. He didn't play at all his rookie year. He was the 4th-string quarterback. His second year, he started him and he won his first of 6 Super Bowls, but he trained himself. He had a trainer with his body and his arms and this. He had a trainer for what he ate. He worked out. I never worked out. I never had a trainer. I didn't watch what I ate. He did all of that, and he made himself, by that work, a better player. And he was a great player. And the guys today have more tools of all the things I just mentioned that Brady had that makes them better and stronger and faster, and they could play longer. And Brady played what till he's 41 years old. That's unthinkable. I finished my career at 39, and at 39, well, at 35, I couldn't throw a football over 40 yards, and I couldn't run a 40 in 10 minutes because I didn't have the structure to do that. And
That leads to the last big question for you. You ended football 39. You're now 80.
85.
And what keeps you going? What keeps you working?
I take care of myself. I eat right. I work out. I'm in the game. I'm asking questions. I got great people around me, and we figure it out. I'm having more fun today than I've ever had in my life because we can impact business. We can make things better. And now I bought this company a couple of years ago that is all they do is internet marketing, and they've taught me a whole new world. And we're doing it's like scoring touchdowns and winning games. We're scoring touchdowns and winning games for our that's fun. And I can do that. And I can do that from anywhere. And so uh, uh, I don't ever plan to stop when the clock is out for me. Take me out, but I'll die in this office maybe or die, you know, down in St. Bart's with my wife.
So this is keeping you young too, it sounds like.
Oh, it does. You know, my wife is 35 years white, and she'll hate me for this. She's 72 years old. She looks better at 72 than she did at 31. And she's the greatest cook in the world, and she's a smart techie wicky girl. So that's important too. Yeah, I've been married. That was the 3rd time. She's the greatest human being I've ever known.
Yeah.
She's my best friend. And it's 35 years. I never travel without her. I never go to dinner without her. She's my best buddy.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.